This is Women Take the Wheel.
Sit down, strap in, and turn on all you've got.
Nikki Clark is taking you behind the scenes.
You're ready to win.
Let me tell you, these cars, they get up and go pretty good.
Introducing you to women drivers, crew members, and fans of the racing world. Plus, Nikki is bringing you the latest racing news in Indiana and beyond.
We're going to bring it to you from the tower as they get ready to pull into the beam.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
All right, strap yourselves in.
Woo! Getting off the track and in your ears. This is Women Take the Wheel.
Come on, baby.
With your hosts,
Here we go.
Nikki Clark.
Hi, I'm Nikki Clark, your host for Women Take the Wheel, here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Are you a woman? Do you want to get into motorsports? Well, this episode of Women Take the Wheel is for you. On this very special episode, I'm talking to more than a dozen drivers to get their answers to the question, what advice do you have for women who want to get into motorsports? Here are their answers coming up. Stay tuned.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
Okay, and welcome to a special episode of Women Take the Wheel this week. I'm posing the question to women drivers and crew members, what advice do you have for other women wanting to get into motorsports? First up is top fuel dragster driver Leah Pruitt. She's driving dragster for Tony Stewart Racing this year. She was also my first guest at Women Take the Wheel, and she talks about how racing isn't a male-dominated sport. It may be male-prevalent, and what things you need to do to further your career path.
What I like to say it was true then, it's true now, it will continue to be true, is that drag racing is not a male-dominated sport. I think it's easy to say that. Those words kind of go together. But if you really think about it, it's not dominated by male. It's a male-prevalent sport. There's the majority of gender, selection is male there. But domination, you take four-time now world champion winner Erica Enders and myself winning factory stock and finishing 4th and 5th and 7th. And winning races, you take Alexis and Brittany Force when she's out here running, totally not only a contender but a former world champion. So the few females that are out here, even though they're more than another motorsport, we're not just filling the gaps. We're not just filling the fields. We're doing well, winning races and championships, and I think that's something to be said about the vision that the sport had in the beginning, B, the non-chauvinistic mentality that the majority of people have within this sport, and the marketability, I think, is far beyond where other motorsports are at, because we've capitalized on it, and become part of our norm for so long. So that's my take on it. It's not dominated by them, but it's male prevalent, and I encourage so many women that have any type of interest in motorsport. Like, it doesn't even have to be driving or even tuning. Could be working on, could be painting, could be you could be an engineer, it could be on the OE side. Like, there's literally a career choice for women in motorsports and in the automotive industry that doesn't have to be just getting downright greasy and dirty. Like, your mind can work in all the different facets of ways, from science, math, and technology to creative, to marketing, to what you do. Like, there's an opportunity everywhere. And I would say, if I had one piece of advice for them, is really focusing on what is it that you like about motorsports and cars, and then figure out a way of what career path you see yourself in. And then I guarantee you there's a way that shows you it, whether it's the Mopar CAP program from a vocational school, whether it's going to a drag race and having a conversation with a crew member or a driver. But the number one thing is focusing on which one gets your ticker going. Like, what part of motorsports, if it's just the speed or being at the races, there's hundreds of careers out there in that scope, for sure.
Preach, sister. That's what I'm trying to get through with this, with this podcast. Everything's explaining all the different roles out there for women. Next up is Megan Meyer, who I've known for so long. We actually used to work together. Megan is a 2-time top alcohol dragster champion, and now she runs a social media coaching site. And she's talking about being diverse when trying to get a job in motorsports.
The biggest piece of advice I would give someone is to always try new things, to really be diverse, whether it is on the track or off the track. So kind of like what we talked about, like going through college, I was working in different departments, I was doing different internships, getting all of this different experience in other industries really helped make me a well-rounded person for when I was able to, and when I was ready to take that step to be a professional race car driver. There is so much that you need to know inside of racing, but there's still so much that you can learn outside of racing, no matter if it's other hobbies or other sports, or if you want to try like different skills. Always, don't be afraid to try something new and be diverse, because that's also going to help you when you are approaching sponsors. And, a lot of racing sponsorships are outside of racing. So like, for example, working with Ryan, like they do a lot with Menards. And so if you're able to have a connection with a company that's maybe like in retail, or let's just say like the food industry, because they do a lot with that, that's going to help you be so much different when you are on the track and help bring more attention to you. So always do stuff that can set yourself apart from the competition, and just be diverse. So that way, not only are you just learning new skills that will be helpful for you off the track, but also when you are ready to make that transition to a different phase, it can help you with that as well.
Next up is Madison Payne, who I have also known her entire life, like seriously, her entire life. And she's a recent winner. She took home the top alcohol dragster win at the regional event in Phoenix this past weekend. And she gives us her best advice. And she also shares the best advice she received from her grandpa, who is the legendary Brad Anderson. So what advice do you have for like maybe girls younger than you who want to race right now? What would you tell them, like advice you would give to them?
I would think the biggest advice that you could give to a young girl is that it really doesn't matter that you're a girl, because I think sometimes it can kind of be played up that NHRA is a man's sport. But at the end of the day, there are a ton of women drivers, and the men don't care that we're women. I mean, we race just like everyone else. We put our helmets on the same as everyone else. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it just matters that you're a good person and you try to be a good driver and you're serious about it.
What is the best piece of advice you've been given so far about driving and NHRA in general?
I think the best advice I've been given was from my grandpa. And it was when he went to, it was Vegas last year. He was in Vegas with me, and he took me while my parents were in Houston running the funny car. And it was a double divisional, and I lost third round at the first one. And then the second race, I lost second round. And I was really upset about losing second round, because I remember I had a 00 light, and so did the other guy, and I just lost a good race. And I was just really upset, because I was like, in Supercomp's ridiculously hard. And it was just kind of the point where I just kept losing with good lights and good packages. It was just that the people I raced were barely better than me. It could have gone either way. And my grandpa was like, you know what, Maddie? This is racing. It's not like I'm in a category that has 8 cars. I'm in a category with over 100 cars of people who have been driving forever. And it's going to take time, and I need to work on my patience. But at the end of the day, as long as I stick with it and do my best, the tides will change, and it'll go my way.
Next up is Paige Coughlin. You may recognize her name. She's part of the Jiggs family. She is Troy Sr.'s daughter, and she is doing Street Outlaws next year. I'm very proud of her. And hear what advice she has for other girls. What advice would you give to other young girls like yourself who are interested in getting into racing?
Oh my gosh, this is one of my absolute favorite things to talk about because, a lot of young girls, to me, when I was starting off, it was a little intimidating because, it is a male-dominated sport and there's not always a bunch of females where you're racing. And it happens, but it makes it even that much more satisfying to when you kick their butt and you're like, well, sorry. But you know what? It's just perseverance and it's confidence and strength because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I just stopped listening to what other people were saying and I did my own thing and I had confidence in myself to drive a race car and confidence in the people around me who are helping me because no one else's opinions matter. I mean, if they don't like it that you race or, they don't support it because you're a girl, then, that's on them. And that just gives you more opportunities to prove them wrong. And so that's one big learning point that I have really taken from my no prep release is that, when I was running Super Comp and stuff and I was the only girl to finish in the top 5 for Super Comp in 2019. And you know what? It was a little, intimidating to stand up on the stage with all these men. And I'm like, you know what? I earned my right to be here just like everybody else did. And I'm sorry if the people who are 3rd, 4th, and 5th have a problem with me being in 2nd. But it is what it is. And we all worked hard to be here. We all put our pants on the same way, like I've said before. And we all want to race for that trophy at the end or the cash that comes with it. And just don't give up because if you give up, then you're only letting them win. And if you want to race, all you got to do is just be confident and be open to learning new things and just perseverance because no one else's opinions matter except for the people who support you.
Next, we're talking to Julie Naddis, and she drives a field dragster for Randy Meyer Racing, and she talks about never giving up on your dreams. That goes for all parts of life, ladies. Now, what would you say to other girls who want to get into racing? What advice would you give to them? That's another question I love to ask. What advice do you give girls who are like at the ropes going, I want to be a racer? What advice would you give them?
I would say never give up on your dreams, no matter if it's racing or anything else. You got to work for it, but you just got to keep going. It can be tough out there, but with all of these drivers in NHRA right now that are women and they're dominating, I'm like, yes, girl, just keep going and don't ever give up.
Next, I was joined by Taylor Nobile. She is recently married to Vincent Nobile, and she drives several different cars, if you remember. And she's talking about just getting out there and doing your thing. So now, what kind of message do you have for other girls out there who want to drive? Like, if there's a little girl listening, what do you want to say to her if she wants to start driving?
To just get out and go do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it or that you're too pretty or a girl and you can't succeed in a man's world because you totally can. I mean, there's countless women out here doing it and proving that we're just as good as the guys, and to just chase your dreams.
And here's some advice from one of my favorite people, Krista Baldwin, top field dragster driver. And she knows it's tough out there. It's tough competition, but she tells you what you need to do to keep going in the sport. What's your advice you have for any girl wanting to get into racing? What's your key piece of advice?
Keep going. It's tough out here. I'm not going to lie. It's tough. You're going up against, I'm going up against the Jordan Vandergrips, the Austin Procs, the Justin Ashleys, and, of course, we have Brittany and Leah out there, but shoot, it's tough in the 20-something club here.
Oh, yeah.
It's cutthroat. Shoot, even today on Twitter, we had a little spat. A fan didn't understand what my tweet was, and he's like, well, my favorite is Austin Proc. And so I tweeted back, I'm like, well, I'm a fan of Austin's too. Like, we're all friends. So
have you ever got cooking advice from Chef AP? Yeah.
Yeah. But shoot, I mean, it's cutthroat, but man, they're all my friends. We've all had a good time. All of us started in A-Fuel.
Yeah.
Shoot, all of them drove my A-Fuel car through the Nitro University.
Yes, that's right. I'm like, yeah, Jordan, yep, but you have.
Yeah, so it's cool to see their careers taking off and seeing where they're going to go. But now it's like my turn, and man, I'm so excited. But for all the girls out there, just don't give up. And knowledge is key. Continue to learn. Shoot, even this year, I continue to learn. I continue to take classes online. I continue to grow my portfolio in the sense of, I always say that anything I learn that is new, it's another feather in my cap. It's something I can use probably later. I might never use it, or someone might ask me some weird question in 10 years, like, hey, have you ever done something like this? Oh yeah, I did this, and so this is how I'm going to do it. And so knowledge is key. Just continue to learn.
Then next up was Carrie Wilhoff. Not only is she a driver, but she also owns a safety equipment company that's designed for women. And she talks about the things you need to do before you even hit the racetrack. So what kind of advice do you have? I always ask this. What kind of advice do you have for girls or women who want to get out and race? And this can be for drag racing, any type of racing. What are like some of the advice and tips you would give to them?
I would say seat time is number one. I see a lot of people trying to make improvements to their car before they actually get to learn the car. So that's probably my number one rule, is that don't make changes until you really understand what it is that you're paying for and what it is those parts do. But I think another one that kind of gets overlooked is there's this kind of mentality with women out there where I don't know who really creates that, but I would just kind of say that we really should kind of learn from each other, and there shouldn't be this competitive aspect. I've been, kind of victim of that, in many different race series where it's like, you're competing against the men, but you're also competing against the women. And I think just trying to give a little bit of inclusivity within all the women at the track. I mean, I really want to create a sisterhood. I mean, we have a brand ambassador, Tracy Gadu, that, I mean, if she sees another race chick race suit at the track, I mean, she will go up there and start talking, and anything you need. Hey, I've been doing this a long time. Let me know if there's any advice. Would you like to take a ride? So I think just kind of tapping, if you're, kind of intimidated by the guys, I mean, tap into the women that are there and learn from them as well. And, I never, no matter how fast I end up going at a track, I always will get in the seat if somebody else, whether they've been there more times than I have or not, because you always learn something from that ride. So I think just taking as many rides as possible and learning as much as you can from other people is a really, really great way to kind of get ahead in your driving and your experience.
I love that, because I love the whole women empower women. I'm like, we're all in this together. I'm like, we got to go, get up with the boys. And I love what a friend of mine said a couple weeks ago. She was like, racing is not a male-dominated sport. There's men in it, and there's lots of men, but they don't dominate it anymore. We got us girls up there.
They sure don't. Absolutely. There's no reason why a girl can't go just as fast as a man.
And if there's a girl out there who's like never been to the track before, what would be like the first steps she would take?
I would say definitely get your safety gear in check. Number one, just, for peace of mind. I think anytime that you can study the track, and right now we're in a really great digital age where you can get online and you can look at YouTube videos of, people who have been there and kind of experience that like you're in the car. I personally have a racing simulator that I put in a lot of hours on and really get to learn the tracks that we're going to a lot better just being on that racing simulator. So it does give you a little bit of more confidence and a little bit more peace of mind before you get to the track. So that's probably the most preparation that I would recommend for someone going for the first time, is there's a lot of stuff you do need to do before you get there. And then once you're there, I think you just have fun and keep your wits about you. And like I said, kind of ask for maybe coaching from somebody who's been there, or if there's an instructor, that is priceless. It really, really is. So for road racing in particular, I know we run with a group called Hooked on Driving, and they always have instructors there for those A and B class, beginners. And that's really been invaluable. I started and took them with me in the car, and, they could provide some input and different advice. And the next time I go out there, I was faster.
Next up was a fun episode. I was actually joined by two female crew members, Kaylin Simmons and Jessica Vehar. And they had some very good advice on being open-minded, adapting, and other advice really that pertains to all walks of life. what piece of advice do you have for another girl who wants to get into racing? We'll start with Kaylin.
Okay. I feel like normally, everyone hears like girls, it's no different. Times have changed. But honestly, I think my biggest piece of advice would be open-minded and be able to adapt. Because like we both said, we wanted to go into NASCAR so bad, and there's so many forms of racing in motorsports in general throughout the industry. There are so many positions out there that you are more than capable of doing. And then to be able to adapt. Like I said, when we get in and we can't torque this flywheel, we got to find our own way. As females, our upper body strength isn't like out of this world, so we had to find our own ways to do it. I ended up having to get under the car and use my legs to actually brace myself and torque the flywheel. And you got stuff like lifting the pack in that's 80 pounds. Everything that we do may not be exactly how the guys do it. We kind of have to find our own way to balance out our strengths. I mean, we're both small girls, actually. I mean, we're relatively short, relatively lightweight. So carrying around a clutch pack that's half our weight is like quite a task sometimes, but you got to do it. And at the end of the day, just to see that race car go down the track, everything's worth it.
Oh, Jessica, what's your advice?
My advice would be first network. That's always important, but also don't compare your path to somebody else's. What you are doing, you're on your path for a reason. And it may be rocky, it may be raining all year long, but you're on that path for a reason, and your time will come. It just takes time. If that door's not opening, it's not opening for a reason. And you have to work for what you want, and don't give up. Always reach out and have others help you if you need it, but also don't forget to reach your hand out to help out others. And just, if you have drive, passion, and you are a hard worker and determined, you will never fail in life.
Oh my God, 100%. That's life in general.
I love that. I'm over here loving all that right now.
Next up was my interview with my first NASCAR driver, Amber Bachlan, who just got married, and she's driving in the ARCA series this year. And she's going to share her advice about believing in yourself and how far that can take you. And so now here's the time where I ask, what advice would you give to other girls? If there's a little girl out there who's like, oh my God, I want to be like Amber, I want to drive, what advice would you give her?
I would say to just, number one, you really have to believe in yourself. And I think a lot of that comes from putting in the work and showing yourself that you can achieve great things. I think a big thing is not listening to other people and not letting their opinions dictate the decisions you make for yourself. If you feel really strongly about your path in life and you're very passionate about what you want to be and where you want to go, then absolutely stick to that. And there's going to be a lot of setbacks, a lot of roadblocks, but you got to be willing to be relentless through that and keep pushing forward, because it's after all of the struggle that where the real beauty comes in. And to just never give up, because the magic doesn't come until you don't give up. So if I gave up, which I could have very many times, I wouldn't be where I am living my dream today. So it doesn't matter how long it takes, just the time's going to pass anyways, so just keep pushing forward.
And finally, we're joined by Jackie Frick. I always love talking to Jackie, and we actually did her podcast in the pits at the Gator Nationals in 2021. And she's talking about following your passion and having the right people around you to succeed in racing. What advice did you give them, and what advice do you give to other girls who are getting into the sport?
One of my favorite things about this is the little kids that come up to the trailer, and whether it's racing or basketball, or my other niece plays professional basketball overseas, and my oldest niece Samantha does, and we're always kind of a family, just whatever your passion is in life, follow it, and nothing can keep you back. You know, if you put your mind to it. And I was 6 years old. I tell this story all the time, and my nieces are like, stop telling that story. And I'm like, it really is. I was a kid at the fence, and I watched Top Alcohol Dragster. And I said, I'm going to drive one of them one day. I didn't know anyone who ran Top Alcohol Dragster. I didn't know anything about it. the first time I started with Tom Jones, I didn't even know you had to push in the clutch to start the car.
Oh, okay.
And I was about to make a run that night. So, but I stuck with it. So I really just tell people, follow your dreams. Don't ever give up. Don't let people tell you you can't. If you put your mind to it, absolutely anything's possible.
Thank you again for listening. I'm Nikki Clark, and this is Women Take the Wheel. Be sure to connect and follow on Facebook when you search for Women Take the Wheel. And be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast now on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Women Take the Wheel with Nikki Clark. Follow and subscribe to this podcast now and discover even more great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Online at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. All Indiana